You stand at the edge right now, feeling your heart pound, and there's this voice in your head asking what you would dare to attempt if fear wasn't holding the reins. And here's the companion question that cuts even deeper. What would you chase if you knew, absolutely knew, that failure wasn't waiting at the end? Because when you're old, when your body has slowed and your days are measured differently, you're never going to wish you had lived smaller. You won't sit there thinking you should have collected fewer scars, fewer memories of times you went all in. The regrets that haunt people aren't about the things they tried and lost. They're about the silence of never trying at all, the empty space where courage should have lived. Whatever it is pulling at you right now, understand this: risk isn't optional. Risk is baked into the very architecture of existence. You want progress? You want anything worth having? Then you're going to have to step into uncertainty. There are people who will spend their entire lives clutching safety, and they'll have so little to show for it because they were just too damn cautious. Sure, you can be reckless, throw everything away on stupid bets, but you can also strangle yourself with caution. This timid, careful approach to living, this constant seeking of comfort and safety, especially when you're young, in those crucial years when you still have time and energy and the world hasn't worn you down yet, that's the real danger. That's the thing that will hollow you out. Taking calculated risks, the kind that aren't naive but aren't paralyzed either, that gives you something powerful. It gives you something to hold on to when you're lying awake at 3 in the morning wondering what the hell the point of any of this is. When you're doing what you actually mean to do, when you're wanting what you genuinely want to want, not what everyone told you to want, there's a rightness to it that steadies you. But getting there is brutally hard because we're built to fit in, wired to conform, programmed to follow the path everyone else is walking. If you're going to break away from that, you're going to have to tear yourself down and rebuild yourself into something new. You know the thing you really want to start, but you're terrified of what people will say, how they'll judge you, what they'll think when you step out of line. Do it. Do it now. Start building this mindset where you take risks and you go big, because here's what's true. Nothing worthwhile in life happens without risk. Absolutely nothing. Every meaningful thing requires you to put something on the line. There was this moment where someone took a massive chance, no safety net, no guarantee they could come back if it all fell apart. It was a one-way ticket that could have ended with them coaching high school football for the rest of their life, and they jumped anyway. Right now, this moment, is when you should be taking the biggest risks of your entire life. You have something precious that you don't even fully appreciate yet: time. You have years ahead of you to recover, to rebuild, to try again. Someone once figured that if entrepreneurship didn't work out, at least they'd have one hell of a story to tell in business school. That's the rationalization that let them quit the safe path, and sometimes you need that kind of reasoning to give yourself permission to leap. Because your DNA, who you actually are as a person, is wrapped up in your dreams. The world knows this. The system knows this. And it's worked very hard to take that away from you, because if you know who you are and you know what you dream about and you actually go after it and get it, you're probably not going to be content working for most of them. You're not going to fit into the slots they've prepared. You must have faith. Not blind faith, but deep faith in yourself, in your abilities, in whatever it is you're offering the world, whether that's a service or a company or an idea. You have to believe in it unquestionably. That faith gives you something equally important: patience. The ability to keep going when nothing seems to be working. You get one life. One. Rain or shine, snow or blazing heat, sick or healthy, scared or confident, the time is always now. This isn't the moment to take the job your mother wanted you to take so she could brag to her friends. This isn't when you maximize your income so you can buy an expensive car that loses half its value the second you drive it off the lot. What you should be doing is traveling, learning, starting that business that's been burning in your chest. This is the time to be massively, unapologetically risk-oriented. And if you're lucky enough to be standing here today with absolutely no idea what you're going to do with your future, if everything is uncertain and undefined, nobody has ever been luckier than you. Recognize that for the gift it is. Here's something about risk that people don't like to think about. Life itself is risky. You're not getting out of this alive. That's the ultimate risk right there. Everything else is just details. So the question isn't whether to take risks, it's which ones are worth taking. Start saying this to yourself: I am. I am. Keep saying it until you feel it in your bones. You're standing at the edge of the greatest move of your life, and the time to act is now like never before. Taking a leap of faith means exactly that. Faith. It takes faith to jump when you can't see the bottom. It takes faith to step into your purpose when your purpose looks nothing like what you thought it would. It takes faith to step into your destiny when destiny feels like a foreign country. It takes faith to pull away from everything familiar, from every comfortable thing you've known, and step into territory that has no map. To become the person you were born to be requires faith. The first person you need to influence, the first person you need to convince, is yourself. If you want to make something happen, it starts with you. You have to take personal responsibility for it. To get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Are you bold enough? Are you radical enough in your hunger to go after what you believe is yours? Are you crazy enough? Are you courageous enough? Because at any moment, you could be one decision away from a completely different life. Different place, different people, different experiences, maybe even a different version of yourself. Sometimes in the process of losing yourself completely, of letting go of all the expectations of who you're supposed to be, you discover there's more to you than you ever imagined. So sometimes it's worth taking action just to find out what you're made of. Do something big. There's something inside you that you've always wanted to do. When you get to the edge, your brain is going to scream at you to step back. Every single time. It's designed that way. It's going to tell you to step back because you could fall, you could fail, you could get hurt. It remembers the last time you tried something like this. It remembers watching someone else fail. It's just trying to keep you safe. But you have to learn to navigate between your brain and your soul, and on some days you just have to listen to your soul and say you're going to leap. Most people spend their lives at the edge watching everyone else fly. They're standing there watching other people live, wondering what it would be like to jump, but they never actually do it. Jump. Because only 3 things can happen. You're going to jump and fly, or you're going to jump and land on something soft, or you're going to fall hard. And here's the thing. Either way, you're going to get back up. You already know you have what it takes to get back up. You've done it before. Your greatest fear isn't that you'll fall. Your greatest fear is that you'll live a full life and never fly. That you'll never take that leap. You're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of dying before the world sees who you really are, before they get your fingerprint, before they feel your breath, before they experience your contribution. That's what you don't want, to leave this place without anyone knowing you were here. All anyone is doing when they chase their dream is giving it a chance. And they're not extraordinary. You don't get to use that as an excuse. These are ordinary people who choose every day to make one more extraordinary decision. There's this language that keeps people stuck. This, what-if language. What if this happens? And if that happens, look at the mess I'd be in. Better not try. Here's what changes everything. Realizing that it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Starting a business is risky. Investing your money is risky. All of it is risky. So why are you here? And what are you going to do about it? Because you have a purpose. You have a destiny. You have fulfillment waiting for you. You have connections to make, people to meet, rooms to walk into, tables to sit at. When you're working toward your dream and it gets hard, when there's struggle involved, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. But what you become in the process is more important than the dream itself. The kind of person you become, the character you build, the courage you develop, the faith you manifest, these matter more than the outcome. You get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different spirit. You knew it was going to be hard, but you did it anyway. No growth comes from being comfortable. When you take big risks, you grow into the person you're meant to become. Write this down. No risk, no story. It's that simple. If you're not going to take a risk, you don't deserve the story that comes with it. No risk, no reward. Why not take a chance trying to do something that seems impossible but might actually work? Are you willing to play at that level? Are you willing to risk it all to gain it all? Today is where everything becomes real. It's worth the risk. Some people say it's worth the wait, but the truth is it's worth the risk. Risk it all for something that will last forever. Will you stay mediocre for the rest of your life, or will you dig down deep and bring the greatness that's inside you to the world? No risk, no reward. No risk, no story. No risk, no champion. Take that chance that turns you into a champion. There are moments that define you. Someone's older brother died in their arms at 12 years old from an electrical accident, and they had to come to terms with being the one who got to live. That life, This life we're living, it's a privilege. When you really take that in, when you really feel it, you feel this tremendous urge to do something with your life that matters. At some point, everything is going to go wrong. Everything's going to fall apart and you're going to think this is how it ends. You can either accept that or you can get to work. You can't stop. You can't quit. You can't call yourself a failure because you're not. You're wonderful, strong, intelligent. Take advantage of that. Trust in something bigger than yourself. Trust in yourself. Until you say you're going to take action, nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's not preach, it's reminder. So many people spend time sitting around wanting things to change, not being able to make them change, not thinking they can. Someone should have told them earlier that for something to change, there needs to be change. You cannot stand still because the world moves away from you when you stand still. There's no staying in place. There's only backwards. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. How much harder will you push yourself after losing? Push yourself to exhaustion. We focus too much on right ways and wrong ways. It's scary to just be born and live life, and there's this tendency to want to grasp onto something, to feel like you have a handle on the unknown. But the unknown is the unknown. You can't control it. Every time you've changed, you've felt pain. You stepped from one relationship to another and felt pain. You left one neighborhood for another and felt pain. You went from one job to another and felt the fire of transition. See change as growth, as transformation, as evolution. See it as necessary, as critical, as inevitable. Do something. Stop being scared. If you haven't jumped on the bandwagon of doing exactly what you want to do, whether that's skiing for 3 years or working at a job that's not what your parents want or what society expects, do it. Stop being scared. Enough. If you're sitting at a desk right now and you hate your job, enough. Stand up. Get out of there and live your life. You have one life. If you're not willing to be a fool, you'll never start anything new. If you never start anything new, you won't develop. The willingness to be a fool is the precursor to transformation. That's the same as humility. If you're going to write your destiny, you can do a bad first job. You're going to get smarter as you move forward. When you learn to do things when you don't want to, when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you push yourself anyway, that's when the world opens up. That's when success finds you. There will never come a time when you can coast through life. It's hard to stay governed by anxiety. It's hard to be inconsistent. It's hard not to have daily disciplines. It's hard not to believe in yourself. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to be poor. It's all hard. So choose your hard. Chase after that version of yourself that you know you could be. What happens when you decide for yourself that you're going to do something different? What's the bigger risk? Carrying on like you are now or taking the deeper dive? Take 8 big risks and achieve 7 of them, or take 100 risks and achieve 8. If there's a God, maybe he's saying go for the 100 and get 8 rather than playing it safe with 8 and getting 7. If you're not taking enough risk to fail sometimes, what are you even doing? Don't go back with even money. You cannot afford not to take the risk.